The film opens at a Marine Corps training camp on the 7th of October, 2007. 4 days later, Captain Sam Cahill ships out for Afghanistan. Before he leaves, he writes a letter to his wife in case he never comes home. He hands the sealed envelope to his commanding officer and asks him to deliver it if the worst happens. Sam returns to a small town and a quiet family life. When that part of the story begins, he is a steady presence at home, married to Grace, who keeps things running, and father to 2 daughters, Maggie and Isabel. His younger brother Tommy is the opposite of Sam in every way. Tommy has just been released from prison after serving time for a bank robbery. Sam picks him up and they drive back to the house together. Home feels full when the family gathers. Grace prepares a meal to mark Tommy's return. The younger girl bursts through the door, tells her mother she doesn't like Uncle Tommy, and the day proceeds with awkward laughter.
Isabel's big.
The family eats together and stops to bless the son who will leave again soon. Their father Hank stokes arguments. He criticizes Tommy and praises Sam as the real man of the family, the one who went away to serve instead of breaking the law. His words cut and the mood darkens. Hank storms out of the room and leaves. That evening, Sam slips his wedding ring off, hands it to Grace, and she tucks it onto a chain around her neck. They stand together and say they love each other. 5 days later, Sam is in the Afghan desert. He drives through a landscape where wreckage and broken vehicles mark the danger. He films notes to himself on his phone, a trail of what he sees. Not long after he arrives, the helicopter that carries him and his squad is shot down. They crash. Back home, Grace is in the bathtub when the doorbell rings. Their older daughter opens the door and finds 2 uniformed men who have come with the worst news. What's wrong? Grace asks, and she is handed the facts she cannot accept. She watches old recordings of Sam on repeat and keeps calling his number. The outgoing message plays. Sam Cahill, please leave a message. That same night, Tommy shows up drunk to return a borrowed car. He sees how broken Grace is over a smashed headlight and then learns his brother has been killed.
What are you talking about?
He's dead, Tommy.
He had been unreachable all day. Grief and anger flare. He yells that they should never have let Sam go. Tommy goes to the parents' porch to be alone. His stepmother offers him shelter, but he wishes to sit with the night. Maggie and Isabel refuse black dresses for the funeral. They want to remember Sam in their own way. At the service, the family receives the letter Sam wrote. Afterward, Hank drinks too much and tries to drive. Tommy takes his keys to stop him. Hank renews his barbs, measuring Tommy against Sam, and Tommy fires back that their father failed in the ways he raised them. Hank walks off and leaves the argument unresolved. Grace is afraid of the sealed note and puts it away. She cannot bring herself to open what may be a last goodbye. The film switches back to Afghanistan. Sam and another soldier, Private Joe, survive the crash. The Taliban capture them and throw them into an underground cell, a zindan. Sam tells Joe to keep quiet and to answer nothing the captors demand, because silence may be their only protection. Tommy, prone to late-night trouble, calls Grace at 3 in the morning asking for cash. He's short $47, and the bartender threatens to report him for parole violations. Grace goes out to pull him from trouble and brings him home. The house is restless. The girls plan pancakes to cheer their mother and make morning noise. Tommy asks them to be quiet. "Stop it," he says. They refuse, and he leaves the couch to join them. Hank appears and apologizes for his earlier temper. Tommy admits Sam was always the cleverer son. "That's not true," Hank says. "You gave up on everything." Tommy replies something bitter about sacrifice and scars, and the conversation turns awkward. Sam, in the cell, watches the sky through a tight gap in the boards. He sees helicopters pass above and worries his captors might be tracked. He begins to loosen boards with a stone and is noticed. A guard shoves a heavy rock against the gap to stop him. 2 months pass. The private begins to fray. Joe's mind slips under the weight of torture. He rails and confesses details, terrified that capture will end them both. Sam keeps trying to shield him, to stop the private from naming Sam's rank or the facts that could be used as propaganda. Meanwhile, Tommy surprises Grace by showing up with friends to renovate the kitchen. He remembered his father's complaint about the messy room and fixes it without asking. The men paint, hang panels, and bring a new life into the house. The daughters are enlisted to help, turning small tasks into a kind of family therapy. Maggie spills paint on a bearded man, and the room fills with laughter. Grace finds a box of Sam's shirts, and clutches them to her chest, unsure whether to give them away or keep them near. The captors escalate. Sam is tied to a post and forced to watch Joe tortured with hot irons. Joe breaks under the pain and tells the camera that Americans have no business in this land and he reveals Sam has 2 daughters. The moment is a humiliation and a wound that feeds the enemy's message. On Grace's birthday, the kitchen stands finished. The house is filled with people, but one absence is painfully noticed. The work has been a quiet service to her grief. Winter settles in. Outside at a river, Isabel tells Tommy that everyone loves Maggie more. He tells a story about Sam saving him from drowning once and shows a gentle side. At the ice rink, Grace watches Tommy with new eyes. He connects to the girls in ways that surprise her. Tommy later visits a woman from the bank robbery and apologizes for his past terror. She reveals the years of fear she lived through, sleepless as she imagined him returning. Tommy asks for forgiveness. Grace hears the story and feels a measure of pride. At night, the past surfaces in small confessions and a kiss between Grace and Tommy that shocks them both. Grace leaves to get air, and Tommy stands weeping, unable to hold back the rush of old pain and new longing. All the while, Sam's sealed letter remains unread in a drawer. The Taliban increase pressure. One day, they hand Sam a length of pipe and order him to kill Joe, who has already been broken by torture. Sam throws the pipe away. They raise a pistol to his head and tell him if he does not obey, they will execute his family. The crowd yells under the threat, and as the crowd cries out, Sam takes the pipe and beats Joe until he dies. The execution is filmed and used against him. After that, life at home keeps moving. Tommy returns to fix and improve things. The girls grow into the space with a sense of safety that is hard-won. Then, American forces attack the Taliban camp. In the chaos, one of the captors tries to kill Sam but misses and is shot. The camera that recorded the execution burns in the fire. When the base secures the area, Sam is freed. A phone call reaches Grace. Her husband has survived. She is stunned, unable to process grief, melting into shock. The family meets him at the airport. Laughter edges grief as they show him the renovated kitchen. Tommy feels both joy and sorrow. Sam lies in bed that night with his family around him, but a quiet distance sits between them. Grace kisses his scars in the bathroom with tenderness, and Sam tenses. He is chained. At the rink, Sam watches Tommy interact easily with the kids. He thanks him, then, with an edge, asks whether Tommy slept with Grace while Sam was presumed dead. The question lands like a blow. Sam assumes the worst and will not accept any answer that softens the thought. A grieving widow and her small son come to visit. She stares at Sam with a complex face grief for her husband and anger at Sam for surviving when Joe did not. She demands to know if Sam saw her husband die. Sam lies, saying he did not see the killing. The widow leaves, unsettled but not satisfied. One night, Sam breaks. He moves around the house with a pistol, laying out glasses on shelves like defensive points. He walks the rooms with the weapon, restless and raw. The next day, he goes back to the base and tells his commanding officer he wants to return to combat. When asked about his family, he offers only that he cannot stay here. They do not understand him. No one does. At home, dinner becomes a trigger. The children joke and talk in the noisy way of kids. Sam snaps and yells at them for laughing. Grace tries to soothe him. He leaves the table angry and storms out. Isabel asks when Uncle Tommy is coming back. The child's innocence exposes the fractures in the family. Grace begs Sam to tell her about Afghanistan. He refuses and keeps returning to the same accusation that Grace slept with Tommy. Nothing, she says. You were gone. That's it. Sam still believes otherwise. Later, the children play in the yard. Isabel freezes at the sight of her father returning, afraid and unsure. He embraces his daughters and promises that things will be fine. At Hank's house, the family gathers again. Tommy brings a new girl, Tina, who jokes badly about the military. Sam grows tense. The children play, and Isabel squeaks a balloon to get attention. Finally, the balloon pops, and a childish outburst escapes. Isabel blurts that Mom wanted to sleep with Uncle Tommy. The words hang in the air. The family falls silent. Sam hears the accusation and cannot contain it. That night, he returns home, crowbar in hand. He begins to destroy the kitchen he had watched others rebuild, screaming that survival was pointless if he had been betrayed. He smashes cupboard by cupboard, the fury of a man who believes the core of his life has been stolen. He hits himself in the head and keeps swinging. Tommy tries to hug him, and Sam draws a gun and points it at his brother. Police arrive and sirens wail. Officers order Sam to drop the weapon. He shouts that they have no idea what he did and what he believed. What kind of hero am I? He asks. You don't know what I did. He puts the gun to his temple. Tommy and Grace plead with him to put it down. He throws the weapon away and is taken into custody. Grace sleeps with the children, guarding them through the night. In the quiet, She opens Sam's envelope at last. His words are tender and raw. He tells her how he loved her and the girls, and that if she is reading the letter, it means he did not come home. The letter breaks her. Sam is admitted to a veteran's psychiatric clinic. He calls Tommy and tries to make peace. Tommy stays with the children while Grace visits frequently. She tells him she has loved him since she was a girl and asks him to tell her the truth about what happened, promising that if he does not, she will leave. Sam finally decides to speak. He confesses that he killed Joe. He tells her how he had no choice, that the barbarians threatened his family and he made the decision under the worst pressure. Grace responds with a hug and a cry. After his confession, Sam wonders if he can ever reclaim a normal life. He watches his family with a mix of longing and dread, unsure whether forgiveness is possible.